Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
I'm Shelley Matheson and we're at the Victorian Institute of Sport training session, which happens after Play On. Play On is a women's and girls wheelchair basketball program for development. Myself and former teammate, Paralympian Leanne Daltoso, we realised that there was no place for women to get involved in wheelchair basketball. And wheelchair basketball has been such a passion and a lifelong thing of both of us that we just wanted to open up our community to more women, so we created the Play On program.
Program is it's a special one. We cater for women who just want to connect socially, be involved in basketball, learn new skills, make new friends, but also we cater for those ambitious girls and women who want to actually excel and get to the Paralympic level. So this is that grassroots level where they can come in, learn, have fun, play, and whatever their pathway is, they can start their journey here.
I love sport, I love being an athlete. But for me, it's always provided community and connection. And when you're a little disabled girl growing up in the country, you don't always have that. So when I first found wheelchair basketball, I found people like me, I found a community, and yeah, I fell in love with the sport and the people. And some of my best friends in the entire world I found on a basketball court.
I come here every week and I see the smiles on their face, their friends, they want to work hard, they want to show you what they're capable of. It's not just about them, it's actually about their family that sit on the sidelines and siblings that can jump in and be a part of it. I love that. It's just everyone has a place in the sport and we want everyone to be a part of it.
I hope that women and girls come into the Play On program and just find the joy that is wheelchair basketball, whether they go on to compete for Australia, which I believe that there'll be girls on court in Brisbane in 2032 that have found wheelchair basketball through this Play On program. I hope that the girl who never wants to go further than this program just finds a space here and everything in between. I just hope people fall in love with wheelchair basketball like we all have.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Chandler Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Welcome from wherever you're watching to the AIS Netball and Basketball Centre here in Canberra, the capital of Australia. It's the second session, the games 3 and 4 of the Rollers against the World Challenge, featuring 4 teams that are heading to the World Championships in Rotterdam in September. First up this afternoon Australian time, depending on where you are, it is the Japanese team taking on Spain. Spain on the left of camera, warming up in the red uniforms with the yellow trim, and Japan in the white outfits on the right. Both teams played this morning. Japan having a narrow 2-point loss to Australia, and the Spanish surviving a huge comeback from the Italians to run away at the end for a 10-point victory. My name is Brendan Parnell, and I'm joined by Campbell Fraser, a man who's played the sport and is actively involved in the coaching pathways, the high-performance coaching pathways here in Australia. Campbell, what can we expect from game number 3 today?
I think this will be a really interesting test for both of these teams. The Japanese team showed this morning that they are dedicated. They're here to play very seriously, and they play a very safe kind of game. And on the flip side, we saw the Spanish use all of their fouls, use that to their advantage, be in the face of the Italians and get a little bit under their skin. And it'll be really a test of who's more into their style of play. I think the Spanish really could push the aggression into the Japanese team and see if they can splinter a little bit, pull them away from that kind of tight style that they like to play. But also potentially the Japanese could just put their heads down, keep going, and just fight through it. That's what they did. They did against Australia. Obviously, a very, very narrow loss. But really, they don't give up. It's the one thing that you can count on if you're watching the Japanese in wheelchair basketball. They do not give up. They don't give up until the game is done. So I think it'll be a test of who sticks to their guns.
Yeah, we did see two very different styles this morning. The Australia playing Japan, the two teams who fought out the grand final of the Asia-Oceania Championship to try and qualify for Rotterdam. Whereas the two European teams, Spain and Italy, who were both in the top 4, Spain having won the European Championship, going through unbeaten, and Italy who finished 4th to qualify for the World Championships in Rotterdam. Yeah, an entirely different style of play. We saw Australia very 3-point heavy. Undoubtedly, these two teams will know each other very well. So for both coaches, they will play each of the other 3 teams in this tournament twice before having a semi-final crossover, and then a third place playoff and a notional gold medal match on Tuesday, a 5-day event here in Canberra. Invaluable preparation for the World Championships for both these teams. In the foreground, you'll see our 3 officials, Blaine Graplanov, Helen Rosenberg, and Adam McIntyre. It's a busy weekend for the officials as well. They'll be doing some coaching and development work. Probably as much video analysis as the teams themselves will be doing, Campbell.
Yeah, I imagine the teams are looking at these games really intently. It's they'll be able to show a lot of different things, especially because we know the four teams that are here really like to play different styles. I think this is as much as it's a fun opportunity to get the sport kind of moving as we move into Worlds, but also a fantastic opportunity for every team to use their skills in different ways and against different things. And obviously, a couple of these teams aren't playing necessarily what the team will be that goes to Worlds, or at least not fully. We saw with the Italians, they have a couple younger players who have come through their junior program. That is absolutely no disrespect to those players, and they have earned their place. But it is a different kind of showing here. And however, I suspect this Spanish side at least will be exactly what they run at Worlds. They are at full capacity here, and they are showing exactly how that works.
As we see the starters come onto the floor, score table just a little slow to let us know exactly who they are, but for the Japanese it'll be Takamatsu Furusawa, who was so interesting this morning, Akashi Miyamoto, and Akita in number 25. For the Spanish, it's Zazuela Lorenzo, the game's leading scorer with 21 this morning, Lavandera, Garcia Iglemo, and Ruiz, who was so dominant today, playing just 15 minutes, yet compiling 18 points. It's Spain in the red uniforms will have first use of the ball. Ball held up. Down the left-hand side, it's Garcia and Gelmo. Shot clock running down. And it goes half glass. That shot's off. Japan off and running. An early look there at the speed of Furusawa in transition.
That's what the Japanese might look to utilize against the Spanish. We know the Spanish really like their scrappy kind of fast break play, but I think the Japanese do it so cleanly, so intelligently, and that might spell a little bit of danger for the Spanish. They got into a little bit of foul trouble earlier today, so I think that could be the way that the Japanese look to play this game.
Spanish skip the ball across to their main man Ruiz. His shot is a little long. Japanese off and rolling. Kashi runs a little handoff. Takamatsu. Furusawa looks at three. It tumbles. Caught the front of the rim. Took a large leap in the air, but found the bottom of the basket. Some backcourt pressure here. Deflection. 8-second count. Fantastic impromptu pressure there after a made field goal from Japan.
I really like that idea from Japan to kind of put that pressure on. They weren't even necessarily playing a full court press, but just enough pressure that the Spanish didn't quite respond to it in time and didn't switch onto that. So potentially that'll be something they'll look to switch up very quickly.
Kasi across to Furusawa. Shot clock running down. That shot's a little short. Keeper. Spain, two-man game. Ruiz finishes. First chair lock up of the game. One of the Spanish defenders pinned in the backcourt. Ooh, some contact there. Shot not dropping. An aggrieved Spanish defender.
I think pleading with the ref a little bit, just thinking that maybe he didn't initiate that contact, but it was certainly a little bit of hold there. You could see as he went to shoot that chair spin, and that's how they'll identify that contact pretty much every single time.
Akita, good with the second free throw after missing the first. Again, sort of half a match up there. Just two players in the backcourts caused enough problems. Spain's turned it over again. A beautiful left-hand reverse to avoid the defender from Akashi. Got an early timeout. Clearly Japan's pressure, not something Spain were expecting.
Yeah, it's almost whether they were expecting it or whether they're just kind of coming off a win and feeling pretty proud of themselves, Spain, and just not kind of taking care of the ball. I think that's one of those core fundamentals that when you're feeling good, you don't necessarily pay as much attention to just protecting the ball. And the Japanese really capitalizing on that, and their style of defense is so clean. This was something that we talked about this morning, is that both Australia and Japan, when they play very defensive-sided games, and they look to play not necessarily to massively score, but when they score, then they protect. And the Spanish don't really have a response to that. They play a very aggressive offensive style, and when it's offensive meets defensive, it's sort of unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and see who has to crumble first.
Yeah, the efficiency of the transition there and how seamlessly the pressure was put on. The two notable elements.
Hilariously, the Japanese will now pull back that press. So potentially that was a conversation that they had as the Spanish are saying, okay, this is our press breaker, this is how we're going to use it, and the Japanese will immediately pull back.
I always like that tactic. Try and diffuse what the other team was talking about in the timeout. Ruiz left alone there, the Japanese going under that screen. Eventually settled for a shot without a pass. Kurosawa, his bank shot's off. Lorenzo, skip pass to Ruiz, back to Lorenzo. Late closeout from the Japanese. Takashi kicks ahead, won't catch this guy. Kurosawa, it's lightning. Lorenzo sizes up the scrambling defence. Not sure if that was a pass or a fumble there.
I think if you were nice, you would have to call it a pass. So it almost looked like it was getting there, and it opened up an opportunity and just not able to capitalize.
So Suela was certainly happy to have it down as a pass. Ruiz drives middle, kicks the ball across. Shots long again. Akita the rebound. Kashi streaking down the floor with his familiar headband. Akita to Furusawa. Snappy pass again. Akita from the free throw line. Japan continue to pile it on. Ruiz draws some contact there. Plenty of vamos being elicited from the Spanish bench.
This is sort of reminiscent of the Japan versus Australia game earlier today, where Japan really doesn't have a lot of height necessarily, or at least they do on their bench, but not on court at the moment, to pressure that kind of inside shot. And that's something that Spain really want to capitalize on. I think in this game, they're not necessarily going to rely on that speed and fluidity as much, and really just look for those post-up points.
It's something you don't see every day. Barely see it all. Ruiz missing 2 free throws. Calmest man in the building. Kurosawa. He just looks electric every time he touches it. Another sequence of interior passing. Spain off and running. Ruiz. Ooh, almost a fumble there. Cut off his clear lane to the basket. Garcia and Gelmo. Back to Ruiz. He looks at the long 2. Finally something tumbles for Spain.
And that's the shot of Ruiz you'd be expecting. That's the Ruiz we've come to know.
Kurosawa just blinding speed again. Threw a no look behind the back pass there. Turned it over. The recipient had no idea that was coming. Ruiz cut off by Miyamoto. Wheels out to the right wing, looking for an angle. Takamatsu. Now Miyamoto come to defend him. Offensive rebound. It's good. A flash, Akashi's going the other way. Expansive hook pass, which Akita grabs hold of and banks in.
Akita's looking fantastic at this point. I think that's it's a difficult thing for them to respond to. Japan don't have massive height, but they do have decent height in their low pointers. They sit relatively tall, and it's becoming a threat that Spain are trying to juggle between a few too many options. Akita just getting a few too many inside looks.
And Rubia, Garcia and Gelmo, baseline. Ruiz waiting on the weak side, catches that skip pass, drives middle. Kicks back to the man who gave him the pass in the first place, Garcia and Gelmo. Kashi. Urasawa, ball finds its way across to Akita. Urasawa, pass a little off the mark, shot clock running down now. Takamatsu got caught with the ball and didn't want it as the shot clock was expiring. Garcia and Gelmo. Ruiz sets a pick, comes back to set another one. Garcia and Gelmo goes middle, flicks the ball back. Finds its way down to the wing. Nice evasive skills there. The shot just wouldn't tumble. Kashi off again. Always probing. Picked up by Ruiz. Akita. Kashi draws some contact.
I really like this style of defense from Japan, really pulling back almost into a zone, and having a center play very low in that zone, and really forcing the Spanish into an outside shot that we know that they like to play fluid. They almost wanted Japan to keep that press up, and then they'd look to go as press breaker and look at that fast break. But Japan refusing to give them any options here and keeping them really forced outside the paint.
Spain with a couple of substitutions. Quiles onto the floor in 17. Kristen in 77. And the first sighting of Ortega as well, 24. It's another layup, goes awry. On the Rubia that time, unable to get it to go. Furusawa to Akita. Back to Furusawa. He thought about the three for a second. Lob pass, Akashi. Akita. His two-hander is good. It's a full-on press at the moment. 5 in the backcourt for Japan. Turn that over. Spain scramble their way through and then throw it over the sideline.
They're just very, very frazzled at this point, Spain. It's not something that they usually show, at least not too early in a game. But the Japanese pressure and almost the calm sense that the Japanese have, it's potentially just annoying the Spanish, and they're not quite getting the looks that they want to. Their shot percentage is really not where they would expect it to be. And on the other side, the Japanese keep doing things like that.
Furusawa again. He's been a revelation this game in a bit. Just calmly rolled into that three, and it was fantastic mechanic. Japanese yet to make a sub, strangely, in the first quarter, but I guess no need the way things are going. As on Rubia answers for the Spanish, but the Japanese are off and rolling again. Takashi, totally comfortable. Takamatsu. Ball finds its way to Akita. Maybe a fraction outside of his demonstrated range at the moment. The pressure backs off on this occasion. Japanese allowing Spain to bring the ball up. I think that was a 3 from Onrubia. It's a little difficult to tell whether it was a shot. There was a cutter appearing baseline.
And the Japanese just forcing the Spanish to keep changing up the way that they play. The Japanese are refusing to kind of play a single style when they want to pull back and just let the Spanish kind of look for an outside shot. They'll let them. When they want to play fast, they can play fast. They're just having an answer to everything the Spanish try to put out.
Chance for a last second shot in this quarter. Short. Japanese looking for some sort of miracle here before the quarter time buzzer. In, 1 pass, 2. 30-foot skyhook, and it's not too far away. But that'll do us for the first quarter. It's Japan 17 holding all the cards at the moment against Spain 10, and we'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Welcome back to the AIS Netball and Basketball Centre. We've just seen a wonderful first quarter from Japan here in the Boomers Against the World Challenge, a 5-day event being hosted here in Canberra between 4 of the teams that are heading to the World Championships later in the year in September. And unusual, Campbell, that in that first quarter Japan didn't make one substitution.
Yeah, I think it's really a product of their style is working, and why change something if it's working. So they're really putting the pressure on Spain, and Spain just kind of not having an answer, going through a few substitutions, trying to find an option. The Japanese just seeming to answer every single change they make.
They have made a few substitutions now to start the second quarter, and that was Nohiro Murakami short with that 3-point shot. A nice little bit of screening action there. Allows Ortega a wide open lane to the basket. Kashi looks ahead early. Ball back to Murakami. He's been dared to take the 3. That compressed Spanish defense made to pay that time.
And that's not the defense that the Spanish like to play. That compressed defense is not something that they want to be going at. They like to be kind of fluid and jumping pretty aggressively. And the Japanese know that they can capitalize on that. They're outside. The Spanish really need to kind of push the pedal down and kind of put that pressure on.
Mariyama with that last score for Japan. Ortega skips the ball, gets it back. Pink shot, goes glass, expertly. Akashi. His familiar role at the point. Murakami to Akashi. Foul found there. The ball hasn't even been handed to a player to inbound yet, and there's all sorts of chaos going on in the backcourt. Scrambling all sorts of ways, trying to gain advantage. Skips back across. Shot's good. Ortega. Immediately, the Japanese team decide they want to have a talk about things. Spain looked a little befuddled, but that last couple of minutes, it's the Japanese with their different lineup on the floor now after not substituting in the first quarter that look a bit out of sorts, Campbell.
Yeah, and I think it's the Spanish really looking more like what you'd expect them to at this point. They're kind of finding their range, finding their rhythm, and as much as we say that they like that fast break, they like their pace and looking for layups, they do have that outside shot, and they've started to prove that now. The shots finally coming into land, and the Japanese just potentially letting go a little bit, and obviously that's what the use of the timeout will be, is just remember what we were playing before. We held them strong in the first quarter, so let's return back to that. I think it's very much it should be a simple message.
So we look at the Spanish huddle there. Head coach Abraham Carrion. Generally pretty calm character. Some of his bench can get animated. A little bit of backcourt pressure from Spain out of that timeout. Japanese managed to break it quite effectively. Ball skips down to the wing, Mariama. Akashi realises shot clock running down. Hail Mary of a pass there. A little too hot for Miyamoto.
That's the Spanish defense. That's the aggressive kind of fast pace, no options, covering every passing lane. That's what you'd expect from them. They're finally finding that.
So Ortega again, posting up with his back to the action, catches over his head and finishes. Spain draw within one. Murakami. Not sure what to do. Ball spins back to him. Skip pass again. Mariuma's shot a little off. Spain now the ones off and running. Ortega wheels across the floor. Monrubia. Kristen. That one's short. Kristen's on Rubia was sailing down the middle, managed to get a hand on the ball, keep it alive, and Spain finish.
Spain getting pretty lucky there. There were a couple contacts that potentially could have been called, and I think the Japanese bench kind of pleading for that in the background, but not able to get anything.
As Murakami hits one really on the move, fantastic shot there. One of the toughest shots in the game when you're travelling at pace towards the basket. Kristen uses the screen, skip pass, plenty of mustard on it. And Rubia managed to reel it in. Shot clock's running down on him. He launches a potential bank shot that's off. Akashi Checks his options down the floor. Almost dared to shoot there. Decides that's a viable option, and indeed it is. And sneak away. Zozuela weaves in and out, thinks better of the shot. And Rubia kicks it across, lovely screen and roll action. Kristen just couldn't finish. Kashi. Murakami kicks it across, back to Akashi, back to Murakami. He goes baseline, but some sort of offensive screening foul there. Mariyama assessed with the foul. So we're going to have another timeout midway through the second quarter. Not much has changed. Japan just clinging to a 3-point lead as they've gone to the bench. Lineups haven't been as smooth, and there's been a few lost assignments defensively.
Yeah, this is potentially the time where we saw, obviously, in the Australian game, the substitutions came in a little bit too late for Japan to try and recover. And if I was in charge here, I'd be putting a couple of substitutions through, not only to give your players a chance to rest, but also just kind of swap up how the Spanish are playing. We know that they've kind of responded to how the Japanese are playing now. They've found their rhythm. And potentially you need someone, I would be putting in Ryo Fujimoto just as a big man to kind of take on that pressure, be a little bit more in their face. The Japanese mostly play very clean and very fluid, and Ryo Fujimoto is a bull. He will go straight through, and potentially that's the thing that they need to use against the Spanish quick defense, and just kind of push them back into line with what the Japanese want to play.
Yeah, head coach Koyoya was happy not to use Fujimoto for anything bar one quarter today, earlier on. For any eagle-eyed aficionados of the sport, you might have spotted Tetsuya Miyajima, the 4-time Paralympian, one amongst the coaching staff of Japan there. An icon of the sport. So Ortega whips down the middle, shovels a little pass out the back, gets it back, skips it across to Onrubia, and it sails into the Spanish bench. Murakami kicks it across the floor. Rintaro on a 91 for Japan. Akashi drives baseline. Doesn't see anything he likes. Rintaro back across to Murakami. Back to Akashi. He makes a fantastic shot using an equally fantastic screen from Miyamoto. Foul's been assessed. I think all 10 players looked around there when referee Helen Rosenberg said that's a foul. I don't know if they were bemused or unsure if they were about to be assessed with the transgression.
I think that was very much the question. Both teams expecting there to be a call there, and both teams looking at each other like who was correct.
Spain get it in. The ball skips across to Ortega. Gets tremendously ornate shot fake. Rips it back to himself. Onrubia. Oh, he really threw the hospital pass there to his teammate. It arrived as the shot clock buzzer sounded. Murakami. Back to the middle. Rintaro found a shot he liked. Couldn't get it to go. Entirely different game stylistically to what we saw this morning from the two European teams. Ortega probes down the left-hand side. Picked up by Murakami, and then the switch. Shot's a little long. Rebound Miyamoto, and Akashi's off again. Nice little interchange of passing. Ball back to Murakami. Akashi, the shot clock count from the Japanese bench goes on in the background. Akashi cans another one.
So looking extremely comfortable at this point. That's something that he didn't quite show off as well earlier today. But really finding his range. He's fast, he's tall, and for the position that he plays, he's quite valuable.
On Rubio and Ortega, on a two-man game that comes up empty again. And roll into the front court. Murakami's almost dead to take that shot, and he does. Very strange defensive choice from the Spanish team there. Ortega doing most of the ball handling duties. He throws another one straight into his own bench. Really quite a roller coaster of a performance from Spain here.
They're really just not finding kind of their speed, their style, and every time that they do look to find it, the Japanese respond exactly the same way, and it's almost like the Japanese are molding themselves to what the Spanish want to play.
Hands in the air again as Murakami draws a foul. No real issue for the Spanish, just their first in this quarter. They may not have been scoring, but they certainly haven't been fouling either. Murakami. Shot clock ticking down. Might have been one pass too many, it was. Vega off and running, gets a bit of a bump from behind. Goes inside, falls over. Shots waved away. Always had the defender sort of on his wheel there, and seemed to be aware of where that defender was.
Yeah, he's got a lot of fluidity in the way that he moves, and his ability to drive that quick shot into the paint. So it's a difficult thing to defend, especially if you want to defend the shot rather than relying on them to kind of fake out and put themselves in a difficult position. So it's one of those, do you dare, do you not? And at this level, you really can't risk letting him take the shot, so you've got to draw the foul.
Ortega makes one of two and has a rather animated conversation with his coach to boot. We see Ruiz back on the floor. He's normally the magic man for the Spanish team. No look past Okashi. Fakes. In fact, fakes both defenders almost out of their chair. They can't make the open shot. Ortega flips it back to Rubio. Ortega. He's a lovely lean sideways out of his chair. Here's Akashi again. Probing, Murakami. Akashi. Murakami. Looks at three. Short.
And that was almost identical of an offense for Japan 2 times in a row. They swing it to that side, look for a pick and roll, kick it back to the high, and look for that three. The first time they didn't take it, and the second time they're happy to let it fly. But potentially just getting a little too locked into their one style that they want to play that offense. I think they need to kind of change that up a little bit, make the Spanish defense work.
As Ruiz finds an easy one inside. Japan with a chance for the last shot of the half. They're going to run this right down. I want to make sure they get something off. You can hear the count in the background. Finds a lane inside. Can't get it to go, unfortunately. And that'll do us. Japan leading by 4 over Spain. And we'll be back shortly.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Everest Active 4x4. Value packed with 12-inch touchscreen, black exterior styling and 18-inch alloys. All from just 60k drive away. Get the Everest Active at participating Ford dealers.
I was really lucky to cross paths with wheelchair basketball when I was 15 years old. I fell in love with the sport.
I was doing horse riding and I wanted to play a team sport, and my mum came across wheelchair basketball and I just grew to love it. My muscles have grown stronger, so I'm able to do a lot more things now because of basketball. Yeah, it just helped me a lot in life. I would love to play at the Brisbane 2032 Paralympics and represent the country.
I wasn't 21 until I made my first Australian team, so you got plenty of time. The most important thing is that you just enjoy your basketball.
By rolling out the start line, we want to build a framework where anyone that wants to become involved in parasport can find and navigate their way through to the opportunity that's local, that suits their needs.
Parasport's the best. You meet people that are just like you.
Times can be really tough. You're going to have some really frustrating days. It's okay to ask for help, but I promise you things do get better, and Paralympic sport can play a huge role in that.
Have a go. When we move out of our comfort zone, we surprise ourselves.
Not in my wildest dreams did I imagine that direction my life has taken, and I'm extremely thankful for it.
Just try it. You'll just grow to love it, and you could probably play for your country.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
Get what you really want with the all-new Ford Ranger Wolf Track V6, featuring bold styling, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres, all from just 73k drive away. Ranger Wolf Track at participating Ford dealers while stocks last.
Welcome to this very special occasion, a celebration of the 2000 Australian Paralympic team.
It's so great just for everyone to come together and reminisce, and it's like a massive reunion.
To be here with everyone's just so special. It makes me almost cry with joy.
So wonderful to be back here after 25 years. So many people that got to share such unforgettable memories because it was the first time we had the Paralympic Games in Australia.
We all have a bond that can't be broken because we all experience something that is a part of our lives.
All of what we're here for, we have to develop the athletes, the kids with disabilities, to believe that they can achieve.
Sydney 2000 showed that the Paralympic Games can be as good as a host city chooses to make them. It filled stadiums, it filled arenas. It set the benchmark for the athlete experience.
Sydney 2000 changed everything. Let's just take the Paralympic movement to a place where it had never been before.
People with disabilities can, and I think Sydney said to us, we can.
Australia changed the face of Paralympic sport forever, and I couldn't be prouder.
My favourite memory from the Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games was actually carrying the torch into the stadium for the opening ceremony of the Games. Before I was about to carry the torch, there was going to be 2.2 billion television viewers.
The advice to the athletes is seize all the opportunity you have. The athletes that assembled here today are an example of the hard work and the legacy that can be left by a group that's come well before you. The best way that you can honour, respect and thank the past is to make sure you take care of the future by working hard and embracing every opportunity that you have at the moment.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.
Get what you really want with the value-packed Ford Ranger Black Edition 4x4 with bedliner, 12-inch touchscreen, 17-inch alloys and all-terrain tyres. All from just 53k drive away. Get the Ranger Black Edition at participating Ford dealers.
Wheelchair basketball emerged shortly after World War II after it was developed by injured servicemen. It became a foundation Paralympic sport at the 1960 Games and is now one of the world's most recognisable wheelchair sports. Athletes who play wheelchair basketball have a physical impairment. All players use a wheelchair to compete, although some don't use a wheelchair in everyday life. The court dimensions and basket height for wheelchair basketball are the same as the able-bodied version of the sport, as is the playing time and number of players on court. Wheelchair basketball classifications range between 1 and 4.5 points. Players with a classification of 1.0 have the highest level of impairment, while players in the 4.5 point class have the highest level of physical function to be eligible for the sport. The wheelchairs used during a game are specially designed to support players and help them move around the court. During a match, the classifications of the 5 players on the court are added together and must reach a total of no more than 14 points. The object of the game is to score the most points in the opposing team's basket. The team with the most points by the time the clock expires wins. Wheelchair basketball is a contact sport. The sport is so fast that it can be difficult for athletes to stop in time, meaning contact is inevitable and can result in some spectacular collisions. While contact is permitted and even encouraged, head-on collisions are strictly forbidden and can result in fouls or even ejection from the game. For more information on wheelchair basketball, visit paralympic.org.au.
Welcome back to the AIS Netball and Basketball Centre in Canberra, Australia. Watching the highlights from the first half of the game between Spain and Japan. Spain in the red uniforms, Japan in the white. At the moment, Japan holding a significant 29-25 lead. Most of the highlights were coming from the Japanese side. Their smooth transition, particularly in the first quarter. Tager, leading scorer for Spain with 11. We saw there just sidling his way through. Kashi's been a constant headache. And Campbell, while we watch these highlights, it's notable that Akashi and Miyamoto, 2 players for Japan, played the entire first half, both 20 minutes. But their we so often get obsessed with scoring outputs and statistical outputs that it's notable the two different contributions of the players. Akashi playing 20 minutes, 8 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists and 2 fouls. Whereas for Miyamoto, it's just the 2 rebounds, but it's indicative of the entirely different roles they have to play for their respective team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really big thing in wheelchair basketball that as much as there is a limit to the points that you can put on court, there's obvious reasons for that, but actually there's value in that. And the low point players, Miyamoto being a 1, his job is to seal, is to look for those picks as well. And it's something that we jokingly fight for, that assists should be counted through picks and seals for our low pointers, because they absolutely deserve the credit, and they are the reason that high pointers get all those points, get to be the stars.
Right, action back underway. Spain with the ball in the red uniforms. Ortega takes the first shot for them, and Akashi screams the other way for Japan. See, player down on the floor there in the background. Play's going to go on because he's not in the road. Ball finds its way across. Shot is off from Fujimoto. That's a significant substitution. We haven't seen him. Only saw 10 minutes of him this morning. He dominated in those 10 minutes, Fujimoto. Kristen gets the ball across. Tega, little dump pass inside. Lavandiera is not unable to get hold of it. He's the man I spoke about, Fujimoto. The long black sleeves. Oh, fantastic no-look pass. Everything he does has a layer of deception on it. Akashi's shot is short. Giles streams the other way for Spain. Puts the ball to the middle. Short from Ruiz. Akashi. Fujimoto running the right lane. He looks at 3. It's off. Ruiz the rebound. Picked up by Fujimoto. That's quite a matchup, those two. They're the real stars of the sport. Ball's kick middle. Perfectly weighted pass. Ortega wheels backwards as he releases that one. And it's good.
And as you said, that matchup, I suspect that's why Rio Fujimoto has come on. It's just to be a bit more of that height, be a little bit of an answer to Ruiz. He's very much a threat inside the paint, but defensively he's just a monster. He's big. He's a threatening position.
Fujimoto trying his adversarial skills there, trying to convince the referee that he hadn't touched it. In fact, he had. Maruyama out of his chair temporarily. It's back, caught up in a 5-chair jam across the free throw line. Ortega brings it forward for Spain. Once he's found a gap, pins the chair. Whistle comes. No, the shot will not count. Holding foul assessed there. Miyamoto cautioned that foul. Ortega drifts across the left, cut off. Back to Kristen, his shot's off. And as quick as you can think, going the other way. Akashi. Fujimoto. Wheels and wheels. Plenty of defenders. Goes glass, can't get it to go. Giles the rebound. Ball finds its way to Ruiz. There's something you don't see very often. He bobbles it while he's thinking what to do next. Puts his wheel and harmlessly heads over the sideline.
Those little change-ups by Japan really putting a little bit of pressure on Spain. not really forcing them into errors, but just kind of giving them an uncomfortable position. Japan's happy to settle for outside shots and giving Fujimoto a lot of the ball, as we see, but not quite able to convert, but getting himself in very comfortable positions.
And Fujimoto thought that was in. He was heading off as soon as he released it. Ball kicks inside, lovely give and go. Expert pass back there from Lavandiera. Steps in to try and take the charge. The official hesitated for a second and then determined that he did get there in time. Spain with a chance to go ahead. Ruiz. Got it. I think it's dangerous to go underneath those screens. There he is, Fujimoto. Certainly got a head start there. That's the layup. Spain trying to answer transition with transition. Ortega in the middle of the floor. Another player takes a tumble. Mariuma puts his hand up. Bit of teamwork there. To get back on the error.
It's funny watching players get up. There's a variety of ways that players like to get up, and I think that one's my favorite, with just the arms outstretched and lift up. So it looks extremely uncomfortable, and you'd have to imagine your shoulders can't feel good after that.
Ruiz drives baseline. Ball finds its way through Kristen, but that shot's off. Fujimoto. There's some sort of trickery wheeling around. Akashi, bit of contact, goes for a strange left hand speculator. I thought that he'd drawn some contact there. Peak hour in the backcourt there. Massive chairs flung together. Ortega goes middle, finds Ruiz. Some real understanding there.
And that's a really valuable back pick for Spain. They're just keeping Ryo Fujimoto out of the play. He's very much playing that low center and immediately getting inside points. That's what they'll look for here.
Ruiz with the chance for the three-point play. We're halfway through the third quarter. This is the third of, can you believe it, 16 games this week. I was going to say this weekend, but it's spread over 5 days. Each of the 4 teams competing here will play each other twice. Then a series of semi-finals and finals on Monday and Tuesday. Some world-class action. If anybody happens to be in Canberra, admission's free. You can come down to the AIS. Belconnen, AIS, the Australian Institute of Sport. Taro with the inbound to Akashi. Kita back on the floor. Sails down the lane. Makes a layup. There's a very ambitious pass there. Ortega had 3 Japanese defenders around him. Flicks it in. Kristen gets it across to Ruiz. He's starting to find his range now. Up into double figures. Fujimoto drives baseline, a hook pass. Up to Rintaro. Nikita's shot is off. Hager goes middle. Finds its way to Ruiz again. He looks totally comfortable there, and I think the Japanese head coach has had enough. I know we were both thinking the same thing, Campbell.
And as you could see, you saw the imposing figure of Ryo Fujimoto looking to jump that shot. He almost fell out of his chair flying through, managing to find a little space in there. And I imagine that's one of the more terrifying visions that you can have as you're taking a shot in this game.
As we get a view of the Japanese huddle, they're almost a roller coaster of a team, Spain, aren't they? We mentioned before they were unbeaten in their run to the European Championship final. We've seen them for short patches of this game and for their game this morning just completely like a train that had run off the rails.
Yeah, that's one of the interesting things about the way that Spain plays. As I've said, the Japanese, they play very consistent. They're pretty, they stay on kind of their same tone. The Spanish have their moments where they're absolutely flying, they look incredible, and then they have moments where they just look a little bit lax and look like the opponent is getting under their skin a little bit. But I think they're starting to find their rhythm, as you said. Ruiz finally finding a bit of his range. We know that he was absolutely dominant in their previous game, and he's a very threatening shooter once he gets going. So I think that's really going to be their way forward.
Maybe there's a very healthy understanding there that in any 40-minute game where you have 5 players on the floor at any time and another 7 or 8 on the bench, that you're going to inevitably have periods where you're out of kilter. And maybe they just don't get bothered by it as much as everybody else seems to. The Japanese draw a stabilising foul there. Kozai, we haven't seen much of him. He's very solid this morning. It's the nature of a tournament like this where head coaches can wander through their rosters, experimenting with lineups, and as you mentioned before, Campbell, thinking about what lies ahead in the next few months.
It's a surprising thing that Kozai hasn't been on more of this game. Obviously, this is his first showing. For years and years now, he's been a mainstay of the Japanese team. He's a very strong head, but also just a center that the team really builds around and kind of shows their strength in. So it's a surprising thing that they've kind of kept him under wraps for a while.
Ruiz goes provider. Quiles missed the first shot, but found a way to get his own rebound and a putback. A couple of chairs locked up there. We're going to have consecutive timeouts. Looks like this time Spain. I don't know whether it's a tactical timeout or it might be something they want to experiment with, having seen that Kozai is back on the floor now.
Yeah, I suspect this is the change up of play style. This is obviously the whiteboard's out, so there's something specific to run. But I think that's one of the strengths that Spain has when they're looking really good, is their ability to kind of respond to what's being put in front of them. Kozai is absolutely a game changer, not necessarily in just the ability to score, but his style, his playmaking, and kind of helming the team. The Spanish absolutely have to respond to his way and really put some pressure on him.
As we come out of that timeout, Spain leading by just the 3 points. 2/3 of the way through the third quarter. The man we're just talking about, Kozai, throws a pass directly to one of his Spanish non-teammates. Spain pushed down the floor. Ruiz, a couple of defenders completely jumbled in front of him, but he skipped a pass which didn't really go anywhere. Urasawa. Haven't seen him for a while either. He was on fire with his threes before. Misses that one. Maybe his speed will assist with transitional defensive requirements. Ruiz drives, wheels around. Skips the ball across, gets it back. Measures the shot. Off. Pursues the rebound. He can't get hold of it. Maruyuma does that. Kozai. Scans the floor, looks at three. Good. Kozai. Barely been on the floor already. All over the place. Skips back across. Don't have the answers.
That's just a little bit of lax defense from the Japanese there. It's pretty commonly understood thing. You don't leave the free throw line unguarded. Players will just roll into that, sit there, and find their rhythm. Should be a relatively consistent shot, as we know free throws should be a consistent shot. But eventually the Japanese just being a little bit confused as to what style they were playing, and the Spanish taking advantage of that.
Lovely fake there. Shot falls harmlessly off. Kozai bringing it the other way for Japan. Kozai thinks about three. Cabo gets there to disabuse him of that thought. Shot from Nikita. Well boxed out. Cabo coming the other way for Spain. Kozai unsure whether to pick him up, does so. Bit of a bump. Ball finds its way to Ruiz. Just too tall there. Urasawa, he's easily identifiable how he glides down the floor. Cops a whack across the scone on Ruiz, who puts his hand up to acknowledge that.
I can't imagine that's a comfortable hit to take. Ruiz being a pretty big, solid guy. So not something that you envy.
I think it was like a teddy bear's paw there, or a big grizzly bear maybe. Just gave him a little cuff across the head. I don't think it was deliberate. Kozai put a hook pass inside. Akita, traffic all around him. Can't get it to go. Offensive rebound, in fact a couple of offensive rebounds there. But Furusawa is unable to get it to go either. And that'll do us for the third quarter. It's Spain 42, Japan 37. And we'll be back in a moment.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
Hey everyone, Tom O'Neill Thorne here. We have a massive season ahead. Follow here for your behind the scenes, game updates and everything in between. Welcome to a new era of wheelchair basketball in Australia. See you on court.
Welcome back to the AIS Centre of Excellence, bringing you Game 3 of 16 amazing games this weekend in the Rollers against the World Challenge. the first of this afternoon Australian Times offerings. We're 3/4 of the way through. Japan against Spain, and it's Spain holding a narrow but significant advantage, Campbell.
Yeah, Spain really finding their depth in kind of this second half, really finding kind of their stride, and Japan just being a little bit flustered, going through a few of their rotations and not quite finding the answer that they needed. They had Ryo Fujimoto come on and not be quite as effective in the scoring as you'd expect the big man to be, and now they've brought Kozai back on, and I imagine they'll be looking for him to shore up that shooting, look at those outside shots, and see what he can produce.
He comes out bombing straight away, but that three's off. It's a Spanish breakaway. He's sort of lost his balance there, unfortunately, trying to evade two defenders. Weaving in and out, Cabo. Kozai. Mariuma, skip pass. Shot clock running down. Shots off. Takamatsu. Garcia and Gelmo, the ball for Spain in the red uniforms. Cabo now has it. He looks across the floor. Ruiz, ever present on the weak side. Almost surprising when those don't go in, those longer shots from Ruiz. Kashi. Kozai. Switches onto him effectively. Ruiz turns it over. Throws a speculative pass, and unfortunately Cabo, you can see his frustration there. Just couldn't reel it in. It was a real clothesline of a pass. Very early substitution from Spain there. Kashi. Kozai claiming that he was held down in the corner. Vilas on the floor for Spain. For the first time in this game. Ruiz drives baseline, probes around. Japanese both reel back to get the roller. And caught a break there. Ruiz missing one that he was wide open for. Takamatsu. Cut off by Ruiz. Kozai. Back to Takamatsu. He converts.
Japan really relying on that mismatch there, knowing that he was fully guarded, but guarded by someone that cannot contest his shot, and happy to just put that one straight up.
Kozai with the underhand outlet pass. Akashi. Takamatsu. Gets it to go again. It's a little bit of screen to help him get out of the backcourt. There's all sorts of chaos going on there. Meanwhile, on the other side of the floor, Spain look to advance it. Garcia and Gelmo goes under all the screens. So he's got the outlet of Ruiz on the weak side. Takamatsu gets pinned down and can't get to him. Kozai the rebound. Akashi. All of a sudden, Japan looking full of life. Might have been a transition stopping foul there. One of the what used to be called the high IQ variety. Garcia and Gelmo just reaching in.
That's the thing. The Spanish, they like to collect their fouls. We know that they're pretty comfortable to get those fouls, but they do them with intent, and they do them in useful ways. They're not silly with their fouls, not kind of reckless.
I almost found Takamatsu there again as Vilas takes a tumble from his chair. Japan showing they can foul to stop transition as well. Vilas being directed a little further down the court to inbound this pass. Garcia and Gelmo drives right across the floor. That's about a shot. Thinks better of it. Defenders disappear again. Now they come back. He does shoot. Mariuma across to Akashi. Another foul. Referee's just clarifying something with the bench. Japan underway again. Just trailing by the single point. Kozai, Akashi. Shots off from Takamatsu. Just left pick up Garcia and Gelmo. Cabo. Costa Ruiz. Running a fraction outside his comfort zone. That's more like it. That shot's off. Suddenly he's gone a little cold as well. Kozai. Good shot fake. Takamatsu's shot has a lap of honour and comes out. Scores have just stopped for a second. Officials have stopped play and we're going to have another timeout. Here we are, halfway through the last quarter. Just a point in it. It's quite the chess match, Campbell.
Yeah, I was almost wondering who would be calling that timeout. I think either team calling that timeout at this point would be a pretty logical decision. Just the shots really not falling for either team. Both going a little bit cold. Obviously, they're still moving at pace. Still, they haven't. Neither team has dropped their head at all, but they're just not able to find their range. Ruiz, he's been kind of the star of the Spanish team, just kind of falling off his shooting percentage just a little bit, and the Japanese not really able to find their line in. So I imagine it could be a relatively similar message between the two. Just calm. We know how to win this, and really either way, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes. Like it's one of those games that you could really go either way.
Japan back on the floor with the same lineup. Similarly, Spain. Vega has just come on in that timeout. He's with the ball now. Kicks it across to Ortega. He looks inside. Somehow that shot didn't go in. Kashi with an almost clever hand. Gets back to Ortega. He rolls backwards, trying to make a mid-range shot. Can't do so. Kashi almost had a lane to the basket. Vilas cut it off. Kozai finds Takamatsu inside. Ortega with single coverage in the front court on transition. He waits for some assistance. Pass finds its way inside. Nice interchange of passing. Ortega, the final recipient and finisher.
finally Spain able to find a little bit of option there, and getting back into what is pretty comfortable for them. Ortega's 15 points at this stage. We know that that's the position that he wants to be in, and finally just able to convert.
Takamatsu, Kozai. He skips another pass on. Shots off. Garcia and Gelmo, the rebound. Doesn't have many outlet options. He finds Akashi, which won't please him. Lovely interchange of passing. Takamatsu leans in. Garcia and Gelmo's not amused, but he's been assessed with the foul. He's coming to seek some clarification from referee Helen Rosenberg. Seems happy to be unhappy about that. Takamatsu can't get the first to go, gives himself a clap. Try and concentrate his mind. Second is good. Score's tied again. Two of the preeminent teams in world men's wheelchair basketball. Move and counter move is all we've seen. Takamatsu got the steal there. Looked like the ball may have been stolen from him, but there was some contact.
Takamatsu really doing a lot for this team. I mean, his scoring isn't necessarily the highlight of his play, but his ability to kind of control the ball, know where it is, and absolutely dominate, especially in defense. He's very active. There was a play before where he was able to contest an outside shot from not even in defense, just by his lean and his length. So
there's an assist for him there. He finds Kozai at that spot you mentioned before, the free throw line. Just left wide open. Vega hands it off. Garcia and Gelmo. Wheels around, tries to find a baseline lane, can't do so. Back to Ortega. His shot's good. Kozai brings it the other way for Japan. We tick down under 3 minutes to play. Kozai drives middle. It's a little bump on the chair. Rides it. Glass again. That man Takamatsu. Kozai tries to stick with Vega. Akashi comes to help. Kozai the rebound eventually. Mariyama draws some contact, which is significant because that'll be the 5th team foul, pushing Spain into the bonus. Free throws the result for Japan. We see Ruiz well onto the floor. He's advised by the officials to go and talk to the score table people just to verify that he had come through the correct channels. He does so. Do you think we might have seen Ruiz a little earlier if this had been a semi-final at a World Championship, Campbell, or game of that ilk?
It's an interesting thing, the way that both teams really are playing their rotations. Obviously, they know that they've got the option. They will be playing every team twice, so they've got the ability to kind of experiment in this first game. But Ruiz is one of those interesting players. He has moments where he looks a little bit cold, and then will just go on a streak of incredible shots and almost the inability to be stopped. So I imagine that he's one that they rely on quite significantly.
Yeah, it's what we like to call a fire starter. He can ignite from anywhere. So Ortega drives baseline, somehow got around 3 or 4 defenders and was left completely by himself under the basket. Takamatsu to Akashi. Kozai. Nice rhythm to the Japanese offense at the moment. Well, that shot from Akashi is short. Touch over a minute remaining. A little bit of contact there from Japan. They're not in foul trouble at the moment, unlike their Spanish counterparts. Kawahara on the floor. It's one of the low point options for Japan at the moment. Haven't seen much of him in this game. Vega drives baseline and makes a shot. We're going to see another timeout. Certainly an opportunity here for coaches to experiment with end-game situations. Calling timeouts, you can advance the ball within the last 2 minutes. Most teams would have a series of plays they would try and run depending on the score, situation and lineup on the floor.
Yeah, I think this will be a chance for Japan really to decide what they want to do with this end game and decide exactly how they want to finish. We know that they've got options inside, they've got options outside, they've got 3-point shooters, so it's really up to what they think is their option against the Spanish style of defense. And I suspect it's going to be more of that outside shooting. The Japanese have had more success with their outside shooting than their inside shooting so far, compared to the Spanish, who are just sitting inside. As long as they can get into the paint, they will absolutely hit. So I think the Japanese will look to waste a little bit of time and then sit for that outside shot that they know that they've got on several players at this point.
Well, it's a scenario they'll run into many times, trailing by 1, tick over a minute remaining. Ball on the side. They only have the 2 team fouls. That's something else they have to consider, that if they do get into a situation where they're still trailing and want to put the Spanish on the line, they'll have to accumulate some fouls in quick time. We saw the Australian team, the Rollers, just behind the Japanese bench there, warming up or getting ready to warm up for their encounter. They'll be taking on Italy directly after this game. Kozai drives middle. Kicks to Takamatsu, gets it back. Shot clock running down. Kozai. Don't know if that was exactly a design play, but he got it to go. Clock ticks down under 35 seconds remaining. Ruiz jammed up with the ball. Vega. Ortega. Vega, probably not the one you want left with the shot. Does everything but fall. Japan has the ball inside the last 20. Akashi. Vega realises that and fouls him.
It's one of the least enviable positions to be in, where you're forced to foul and send the team to the line, and especially with a shooter like that. That's not the one that you want to be sending to the line at this point. It's 1 point. That's all they've got to be able to make.
The first one from Kashi is off. Second one's good. I think we'll see the last of our allowable timeouts now. Spain calling a timeout. They'll try and diagram something. Undoubtedly, they'll advance the ball to the front court. It's almost the perfect situation for their head coach, Abraham Carrion, to try and practice something which is an essential part of any team, and in particular any coaching staff's makeup, these end-of-game situations.
And this will be a really good test for Spain. They've only taken 2 3-pointers at this point and missed both. We know that they do have the range and the ability, but an inside shot at this point won't get them ahead. So they've got to look for that outside shot, and I think the Japanese pressure that they can bring out could spell a little bit of trouble for that.
Yeah, there are varying schools of thought whether you look for the quick two and take a chance on playing defense and getting to overtime, or all sorts of permutations and combinations and considerations for the coaching staff and the respective team. It'll be fascinating to see what they try and opt for first up here. Just a tick over 14 seconds for them to configure something. Ortega will inbound the ball. Clock on the screen's a little off. Ortega. No look pass. There's a foul from Japan.
It'll be just 7 seconds left. Looking to see if they can find an option. Ruiz almost lets it go. Ruiz won't make it. And Japan will take it 52-50. It's an impressive showing from both teams. Japan just having a little bit too much strength and composure, I think, against the side of the Spanish, having their ups and downs, but the Japanese able to stay calm and collected across whatever comes their way.
Right, we should get a few highlights of some second half action coming through shortly. Yeah, I think you're right, Campbell. Neither coach will be disappointed with the opportunity there to look at a couple of endgame situations. They were certainly liberal with their rotations, which is certainly one of the advantages of a tournament such as this, whereas you play each team multiple times. And the larger goal lies ahead in September for all these teams. As we see the camaraderie and then some of the statistical, nothing really stands out there, Campbell.
No, that's the big thing that between these two teams, it was really pretty consistent. They were pretty safe. I mean, the only thing I'd be looking at is the turnovers that Spain were forced into, and a couple of those were pretty influential in terms of the pace of the game that Japan was able to set and kind of scare the Spanish into just a little bit of uncomfortable position and potentially a little bit of infighting. Obviously, there wasn't anything particularly outrageous, but that kind of just lacking that little bit of trust when you know that there's been a turnover, it can kind of pressure you in the back of your mind. So I think the Japanese did really well to get under the skin of the Spanish.
Yeah, I can't help but think that maybe the Spanish don't mind those lapses that we find so troubling, or that most people find so troubling, that they just consider it part of doing business. As we see a few of the highlights here. Fujimoto, we didn't see a whole lot of him. We saw him making a layup there. Akita. Certainly a vastly different rotation to what was used today in the first game by Japan against Australia.
I think one of the things leading Japan into such a valuable ability to play offense is that their scoring was so spread across the board. I mean, the Spanish side had Ortega with 21, Ruiz with 15. The Japanese, none of them getting above 10. But that effectively being a really valuable way for them to play.
Yeah, Takamatsu was a bit of a revelation. We certainly saw a bit from him. He finished with 9.6 rebounds, but he also plays as a screener in a lot of those two-sided games and presents a target that's significantly higher. Anyway, plenty more games to come. You can see the Australians are on the floor on the right-hand side. We will leave you now, and we'll be back in a short moment with the Australian team taking on Italy.
Get what you really want with the new look Ford Ranger Wild Track. With its power roller shutter, stunning matrix LEDs, and premium B&O 10-speaker sound system. And you'll also get a 4K fuel card. That's 4K to take you on even bigger adventures. Available at your participating Ford dealer now.
What's up everyone, Jalen Brown here. I'm currently over in Turkey for the 25-26 Turkish League. I'm excited to get back and kick off this new era of wheelchair basketball with you all. The 2026 season is going to be something special. Make sure you're following along here for updates while I'm overseas.